Got a free winner on Yankees Blue Jays, some interesting early line moves for this week's college football and NFL slates, teams to maybe buy low and sell high on tonight in Major League Baseball, plus an interesting note on the line for Lions-Packers Thursday night. This is the Power 5 on WagerTalk TV. I am, of course, Bryan Power, and as always, we start the Power 5 by looking at the WagerTalk.com odds screen to see how the market is moving. But we're going to do things a bit differently today. Since there are so many games on Tuesday's MLB slate with no line due to undecided starting pitchers, let's do a quick perusal of some early week line moves in college football and the NFL that caught my eye. Here are two in college for Saturday. These are off-the-radar matchups, but you need to be paying attention to them. South Alabama down to +3 at James Madison. That number opened +5. This is the first ever meeting between these two Sunbelt schools. What's interesting, JMU is 4-0 straight up in 2023 and has won 7 in a row going back to last season. But the money coming in on underdog South Alabama. Perhaps that has something to do with the fact that all 3 of JMU's wins against FBS foes this season have been by 1 score. 2 of them by a total of 3 points. Remember, they only beat lowly Virginia by 1 a couple weeks ago. South Alabama, this was a 10-3 straight-up team last season, and they should have won on the road at Central Michigan last week as the Jaguars got out to a 14-0 lead, but they gave up the game-winning touchdown in the final minute. I think South Alabama, noon Eastern, could be a live dog this week. Another CFB line move caught my eye. Troy down to +1.5. The Trojans had the nation's second longest straight-up win streak at 12 games snapped 3 weeks ago at Kansas State. They're now 0-4 against the number on the year, but they are getting money against another unbeaten team, Georgia State, this week. This is very similar to South Alabama, James Madison, which I just broke down, where it's the sharp money coming in on the short road dog against an undefeated team at home. Moving on to the NFL, the Houston Texans are down to +3 this week at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That number opened +4.5. If you're a client of mine, then the Texans were a nice 4% win on Sunday as they went to Jacksonville, beat the Jaguars outright. We got them +9 on the road. They closed +7.5, but still didn't need to even take the points as they win it outright. Here at home, I think they can upset the Steelers as well. I am just not a big Kenny Pickett fan, guys. Also, do you know how many wins Pittsburgh has by more than 1 possession over the last 3 seasons? Only 3. I think the black and gold are pretty lucky right now to be sitting at 2-1 with narrow wins over the Browns and Raiders. I'll have even more on this matchup with Prez and Teddy on Wager Talk today at noon Eastern, plus another great stat coming your way for NFL later in the Power 5. Okay, let's go back to MLB where we have reached the final week of the regular season and there are playoff spots to be decided. I think you may want to look at selling high on the NL East champion Atlanta Braves Tuesday. Yes, they still need to win to clinch home field advantage throughout the postseason, but they are facing a Cubs team that needs to win just to get into the playoffs. Big reason why I think you should sell high on Atlanta tonight is because Bryce Elder's on the mound. Elder is a major regression candidate. He's coming off a start where he lasted only 3 2/3 innings, allowed 2 home runs, walked a season-high 5 batters with 0 strikeouts. Now, the Cubs starter for tonight, Justin Steele, is coming off back-to-back subpar outings. But I like his underlying metrics better and feel the Cubs are the more desperate team coming into Tuesday. I would consider grabbing them at a plus price. And selling high on Elder and the Braves. Steele, he is the Cubs' top starting pitcher, and prior to those last 2 outings, had rarely allowed more than 3 earned runs to anybody. When it comes to buying low for Tuesday, what about the Seattle Mariners? Losers of 4 in a row. The M's playoff hopes are on life support after being swept by the Rangers over the weekend, then dropping the series opener here at home to Houston last night. But odds makers still consider them a healthy favorite with George Kirby on the mound tonight. I like Kirby more than Astros starter Christian Javier. The Mariners have won 8 of the last 10 meetings versus the Astros, even after losing Monday. That's a potential buy low spot late night in the AL West. Who are you selling high and buying low on for Tuesday in MLB? Let me know down in the comments section. And while you're at it, if you like what you're hearing, be sure to smash that like button. Okay, now to the stat of the day. For Thursday Night Football and NFL this week, we've got the Lions at the Packers. Even though this game's in Lambeau, the Lions are currently 1.5-point favorites, pretty much across the board per the WagerTalk.com odds screen. Did you know if this line holds, it will be the first time in 37 years that the Lions go off as favorites in Lambeau. 86 was the last time that it happened. For the record, Green Bay has covered the closing line in all 3 of its games in the 2023 season. Before we get to the power play of the day, I've got a very special announcement to make. Guess who is the featured handicapper at WagerTalk for $2 Tuesday? That would be yours truly. Through the first 3 weeks of the season, I'm hitting 67% in the NFL, 10-5 overall, and that includes a 6-1 record with sides. 5 of those 6 sides were underdogs that won outright. I talked about the Texans earlier. That's not been an unusual occurrence for me and my clients. We had Indianapolis outright over Baltimore. Again, 6-1 record with NFL sides the first 3 weeks. 5 of those 6 were underdogs that won outright. This Sunday will be my first 5% NFL play of the season. It can be yours for just $2 if you act right now. Just head on over to WagerTalk.com and pick it up before that line starts moving. Now let's wrap up the Power 5 with the power play of the day in Major League Baseball. I'm back in the Blue Jays in the first 5 innings against the Yankees. Horrible spot for the Yanks today. They played yesterday. Toronto head off. The Jays are also looking to lock down that final wild card spot in the American League. I know the Yankees are aiming to continue their streak of consecutive seasons at 500 or better. However, I like Kevin Gausman tonight. Gausman has faced the Yankees 3 times this season and allowed just 3 runs. One of them unearned over 20 innings. Last time facing the Yankees, I should say, Gausman delivered 6 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts. It actually was his last start. Your power play of the day is Toronto first 5, minus half a run at minus 120. And that does it for the Power 5 here on Tuesday, September 26th. Check me out on Twitter at Bryan Power _wins. Now let's all go cash some tickets.